Good evening and welcome to our virtual Dominion Energy Jazz Cafe. It's right about the time of year for some happy holiday hope, a tall glass of Christmas cheer. I don't have mine. Bright red noses and flying reindeer, I think, come along with the season. We're going to enjoy some Christmas music tonight. And to give us that hope, we welcome Tom May and Finale.
Well, it's great to come by this evening. Once again, my name is Tom May, and this is Finale. Dr. Weldon Hill on the piano. We have a bunch of, I guess, repeat offenders here. Todd Woodson on the drum and Ken Kellner on the bass. hopefully you enjoy our time together. We love Christmas music. It brings life and it brings good cheer, and therefore that's why we like to do this. The next selection that we're going to be doing is something about a guy in a red suit. Amen. Let's kick it off. The next selection we're going to do is we're going to take this down to a slower pace, and we're going to do Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Great. Next selection we're going to have is What Child Is This? Sometimes known as Green Sleeves.
Tom, I'll be 38 years old next month, but I feel like a knee baby right now. Thank you for giving us that little spark of holiday. Why don't we give your embouchure a rest and learn a little bit more about you over here? Well, Tom, thank you so much for that first set of music. Mm-hmm. It's really like listening to records in my grandmother's living room growing up every year. The room I wasn't allowed to go in, but that's where the music was coming out of. Mm-hmm. Before we get going in our conversation, would you take a moment to tell the folks at home something about yourself in your own words?
Well, West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Okay, okay.
And I started playing flute at age 11. Started taking music lessons at the Settlement House, which is actually a school for those who, I guess they can't afford, but they have somewhat talent. My father actually met the conductor of the Philadelphia Orchestra at the time was Eugene Ormandy. And they got to talking, which my father does. and so I got actually a recommendation to this music school from the conductor of the Philadelphia Orchestra at that time. So that's kind of where that whole thing started. I'm married, been married for 41 years, same woman.
Congratulations.
So, 3 more children and a couple more mortgages later, here we are today. So that's not a whole else about me. Just got my first grandchild, and so she's 4 months old, and so she's cream in the middle of the cookie.
Love that.
As my daughter was. So that's I'm a retired chemist, and I actually went back to school to get a degree of music. And actually, some of the guys that Dr. Hill was down there during that time, and some of the other people who had performed here, Saxmo Gates,
yes.
and who else? Some of everybody else was down there. Mike Hawkins was down there, and so I got a chance to actually meet and learn from and play with some of the best musicians here in the area. In fact, Russell Wilson was my piano teacher, who was Weldon's piano teacher.
Okay.
And so he's accompanied me in a number of different things, my recitals. So I'm just having a great time pursuing the music, love playing, love reading, love writing. And like I said, just getting out here. My time getting back out in the scene has been more recent, maybe about 5 years or so.
Okay.
But like I said, I played with Todd Woodson, I played with Ken Kellner. In fact, they say, hey, dance with the one who brung you. Well, initially, when I really started getting back out playing again, it was Todd and Ken and some of the other ones that really gave me a chance to grow and learn, and now I'm playing with them on a more regular basis.
Well, that's why we're delighted to have you here with us today. I'm on my first mortgage, very first one. It's only been a few months, and boys, it's scary. I'll tell you that. Thinking back, way back at 11 years old, what was the experience like studying music for that first time?
Well, I actually went to the band class, or actually the orchestra class, because they said, anybody wants to play instruments, come on down here. And I told the teacher, well, I can play the flute. And of course, she knew I couldn't play a lick. But somehow, some way, I ended up getting it together right the first time, and I actually got sound out of it the first time.
It's impressive to me. I've never been
That's just, and so that's kind of where it really started. I got involved in the orchestra. I took some lessons, and I progressed, and there are periods of time over the last 50 years that I hadn't played, but I really started taking it seriously again maybe 15 years ago.
What is it about the flute that drew you to it? You could have picked anything, it sounds like.
Well, I started playing the flute. I picked up the oboe, actually, because I liked the sound and everything. I started playing oboe, and I actually put the flute down. And I played that through high school, and when I got to college, I started playing that, plus I picked up the saxophone. Well, eventually, I decided that, well, the oboe was too much work.
Yes.
Believe me, a lot of work.
Yeah.
And the saxophone was still there, but I decided I just wanted to get singly suited, and I realized I always liked the flute. And so that's why I said, well, I'm just going to play the flute, and that's what I've enjoyed doing, and that's what I do.
It's a real clear instrument.
Yeah.
The one, like I said, I've never made a sound on with the oboe either. You got me beat twice in one conversation. So you start studying music after a long time in chemistry. During that time as a chemist, what was your musical experience like?
Well, I still was involved in music. I loved listening to it. I started playing the piano a little bit, and actually started writing. Just a story-wise, when I was living in Los Angeles, I was just first year of college. I was attending Los Angeles City College, and I had a music professor who lived next door to me. She was the first female full-time professor at the University of Southern California.
Wow.
And I had written some things, and she saw them, and she had a student that was actually living with her, a graduate student, and whatever, they thought it was good enough, and they offered me a scholarship to the University of Southern California.
Come on.
Yes. Well, I said, well, I don't think so. I'm a science major, and so I turned them down. Well, the story goes, 30 years later, I decided to go back to school to study music, and I went to Virginia State. And the mascot of Virginia State are the Trojans, and the mascot for University of Southern California are the Trojans. So sometimes things kind of go full circle.
Some might call that providence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Destiny, maybe. A lot of words can describe
Well, there's a
it.
time for everything.
Yeah.
There's time for everything.
Time and a place. Turn, something like, something like that.
So the chemistry did pay the bills, and I still love playing and love listening.
As a composer, what sorts of things were you writing, and what interested you in writing?
I guess first time in college back in Los Angeles, I spent more time in the music department than I did in the chemistry department, playing in the different bands. And actually, I wrote a woodwind quintet.
Oh, wow.
And in fact, I just actually submitted it to the Richmond Symphony. I submitted it to them, but actually, I submitted it to the wrong Richmond Symphony.
Oh, no.
I submitted to the one that's in Indiana,
Oh, no.
and not to the one here. And they're the ones who contacted me and said, well, yeah, we'll take a look at and play this woodwind quintet. So, but I had written pieces for 60-piece symphonic bands. I wrote music, songs, and things like that. So I'd always been involved, even the times I wasn't playing the flute, I was still doing things musically, things that impressed me, doing arrangements and things like that. So that's kind of where it kind of kept me going along those realms.
It really sounds like you had a strong background in theory for someone who really wasn't studying it in college. At school that got you started must have been something else.
Yeah, it just, I bought a piano because I couldn't do the notes from the flute.
Yeah.
That became more difficult, and I started just doing. You just learn by doing things and listening, and eventually you run into people who are able to help you out. Oh, that's interesting. Well, how do you do this? Or what do you call that? I lacked nomenclature in the theory, but I knew just kind of like by ear, and I had played for so long, I could just kind of piece things together.
There are an awful lot of rules to composition to have.
Well, yeah, when it comes out sounding bad, you know you've broken a rule.
Yeah, there you go. If it comes out sounding weird, that's not how Bach told you to write that. Now, you start in your 50s studying music, is that right?
I started, literally, I think I was something like 53 or 54 years old.
What was it like going back to school then?
Wow, I ended up having to be in classes with 18 and 17, 18-year-olds. That was that was kind of weird. I literally said, sit down. I'm the daddy around here, and you will not do this. You're disrupting. See, you go back, and I'm paying full price. I'm stroking the check straight out. So my philosophy was that I want to know absolutely everything that professor knows by the end of the class. And anybody who was hindering me from doing that was not my friend.
Yes.
But it was great. I made friends, and And to some, I was old enough to be the grandfather at that point. Others, I ended up being more of a counselor than the actual student. So I mean, it was great. I ended up meeting professors. I was more their peers, and I've just got great friends among my professors also. So I was speaking to some just the other day. So it's been very rewarding, and my GPA was far higher this time than it was the first time. Yeah, I graduated in December of 2018. I was the oldest graduate in my class, and graduated, summa cum laude. I think, within the top 5 of the class.
Congratulations on that. It's an inspiring story. I was telling you earlier, after having so many experiences in front of these cameras, I really think I want to go back to school myself and earn my PhD and really dig deeper into what I'm talking about and what I think I know.
Yeah. If you enjoy doing something, it's not work.
Yeah.
It's not work.
That's absolute truth. Tonight, you've given us a whole concert full of Christmas music. What's special to you about that?
Most of it has to do with just my Christian faith. I believe the stories of Jesus, coming to this world to save man from their sin, including mine. And so, I mean, I can do Christmas all year round because it's that gift. I realize I've been given a gift. It's, I kind of say I play for an audience of one, and I don't mind others listening in, but I still play for an audience of one. That's the one who gave me the gift. And so that's why I enjoy Christmas music. Plus, it has strong melodies. Yeah. It really has strong melodies that you can play, and you don't even have to have background music to a lot of these tunes, and they're just great melodies. I love them. I love the message. I love the melodies to them.
I think you're right about that. The great melodies. Something about that pulls at my heart. I mean, I'm a lover of Christmas music in particular. I just, every time it comes around, I've got to listen to it. I play it in my car, sing it walking around my house. Yeah. What are some of your favorites?
Well, maybe my all-time favorite is Silent Night. Is there something about that? And even as I read history, people seem like that makes them melt. Out on the battlefield, it just brings peace to people's hearts.
You ever hear the Malcolm Sargent Silent Night?
No, I don't think I have.
It's gorgeous. You got to check that out. Boyz II Men actually sang a rendition of it on their Christmas album. I think my cousin features on that. I think he introduced them to it. But it's my favorite choral arrangement of Silent Night.
Yes.
Tonight we get to hear a little Christmas Time Is Here. Yes. Charlie Brown. Absolute wonderful composer.
It is. And I enjoy playing it. I can float and I can do, but the music tends to bring people together in such a way that has not. During the times of downtown, the Lee statue and everything, I saw the uproar and all the things that were being involved down there. And I decided, well, I just want to go down there and just bring music, bring something that would calm people's spirits, give them hope. There's enough haranguing and enough, fighting and vileness and all that sort of thing. But I saw that there was no peace in the people down there. There was no peace in their hearts. And if I could bring a little bit of that, just kind of bring the tone down and get people listening, then I think that was the thing that was a positive. And others did it also, so I wasn't the only one.
Let there be peace on
I did that, I played that.
Let it begin with me.
I did Heal the World by Michael Jackson.
Oh, yes.
What a Wonderful World.
What a gift you gave doing that. You were right, a lot of musicians went down there to soothe.
Yeah, not to protest.
To heal. thank you for giving that gift to this city, and to whoever was able to capture it. I mean, the world saw images of that. Were we on the cover of Time magazine, I
Yeah.
think? Took that image of the base of the statue. I mean, that was a
Okay.
powerful and difficult.
Yeah. In World War I, there was opposing armies were at each other, and all of a sudden Silent Night broke out, and there was a temporary armistice.
Yeah. Power of Christmas did that.
Yes.
We were all once children. You know, how much of these memories, warm memories, come from childhood for you?
I heard Nat King Cole in the house, of course, and there was, of course, Frank Sinatra and Perry Como and some of the other ones. Obviously, the 40s, Bing Crosby, and I guess it Platters. You hear Aretha Franklin singing, and so there was a lot of good music. You know, there's nothing like good music in the house.
Right.
And you know, you grow up, you hear the different tunes, and there are tunes that you can go away humming. And I think that's a magic thing. They said if they're not going around humming the tune, you haven't done anything.
There you go. There you go.
I think I heard that from a theatrical thing, and I think there's probably not enough musicals on, you know, movie musicals like they used to be. I played Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Yes.
Comes from Meet Me in St. Louis.
Yes.
Not necessarily a Christmas movie, but it has that scene in it.
You know, you said something that maybe there aren't enough movie musicals. I think there are likely, maybe because of that, a lot of people who don't realize that a lot of our favorite Christmas tunes came from a movie.
Yes.
Or some of our Christmas movies we love came from a Christmas song.
Yes, absolutely.
Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas is certainly one of those.
And Silver Bells. I just saw Lemon Drop Kid. But they were wonderful movies. They were movies of hope, and the music was music of hope.
One of my very best friends in the world is playing the role of Maria von Trapp in The Sound of Music
yeah.
right now. Another great musical movie with music that reminds us of Christmas.
Yes, absolutely.
Gotta love that. Well, Tom, it's been a joy getting to talk to you, getting to enjoy some holiday time with you and to share it with all of those at home. But I think we need to get that second set of music. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready to do that.
All right.
I'm ready to do that. Thank you for having me here.
And you?
I'm going to make the announcement. Okay, this next song, we're actually featuring our drummer, Todd Woodson, and we're going to be doing The Little Drummer Boy. Thank you, Todd. The next piece we're going to be doing, we're going to be featuring Dr. Weldon Hill on the piano. And we're going to be doing a rendition of Silent Night. Wow, we're going to pick up the pace a little bit. Thank you, Dr. Hill. Wonderful. Thank you, folks. We're going to be doing something from a movie. I believe it's called My Favorite Things. next selection we're going to be doing, we're going back to Charlie Brown's Christmas, one of our favorites. Christmas time. Well, the last selection what we're going to do is we're going up on the mountain. Hopefully you go up on the mountain with us. Go tell it on the mountain.
Weldon, Ken, good to share stage with you again. Todd and Tom, thank you for giving us the feels in red and green. We appreciate you tonight. BJ Brown, we'll never forget you. Thank you for sending us the holiday cheer. Dominion Energy for paying for it. Remember Tommy Productions for capturing the sights, and Chris Buford in that booth for mixing the sounds. To those of you at home, thank you for loving with us. Thank you for listening to us. And thank you for learning from us. We hope that if ever you find that you need a little bit of Christmas right that very minute, you'll look for us. In Richmond, Virginia, at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts from the Leslie Cheek Theater stage, this has been a holiday edition of the Virtual Dominion Energy Jazz Cafe. I'm Robert Fennard. Good night.